They played the first game of the year last year in college football. Yesterday in college football. So Oregon is playing Boise State, ranked 14th and 16th. It's a great fun matchup. They're in Boise State. You got the blue field. Everybody's having fun. First game of the year, and it was a challenging game. Of course, there's sometimes at the end of games there's bad feelings back and forth. That's totally normal. It happens all the time in football. What is not normal is this gentleman's reaction from Oregon. Apparently, one of the Boise State guys came and taunted him a little bit. As you'll see in the video here, he actually does hit him in the pads, like kind of as to get his attention, if you will. Now, LeGarrette Blount, if that's how you pronounce his name, seemed to have an unnatural reaction to that. Let's let the tape roll now. This is after the game.
Still a lot of animosity on the field, not between teams, but between teammates.
It all started with Blunt right there. He should be ejected for next week. And if I'm Chip Kelly, he may be ejected longer than that right there.
LeGarrette Blount nailing Byron Hout right on the chin. We saw Oregon players fighting amongst themselves, too. Blount nailing Hout. That is unconscionable, reprehensible behavior. There's no excuse. No excuse for that.
And Mark, think about we started this football game with a symbolic handshake to start the college football season on good sportsmanship. That is unbelievable right there.
It would come as no surprise if LeGarrette Blount isn't sanctioned for the next game or ensuing games. And he is still almost out of control right now. And now police and other security have come in to try and calm down LeGarrette Blount, the starting tailback for Oregon.
We talk about great marketing for Oregon and how they sell their program in different ways. This is the opposite of that.
This is a young man, remember, that was suspended and kicked out of the first practice of the summer by his head coach for behavioral issues.
Really? All right. And then they escort him out. He later attacks the fans as well. I mean, I don't know how he should have. Here it is, okay? And they're taunting him, and that's not a good idea because that's not how Blount rolls. Here he comes. He's crazy, man. This guy's a maniac. All right, now, look, punching people has happened before in athletics. That's not what makes him a maniac. One, going after his own teammates. Number two, going after the fans. Number three, continuing for the next 5 minutes as he gets dragged from the building.
By police and security guards.
Yeah. And the sucker punch. And the part that annoyed me the most was his swagger on the bounce back. Okay? Like he was a boxer or something. And he was like, oh, yeah, look at what I did. Mm-hmm. You idiot. Anyone could sucker punch anyone. It doesn't make you tough. It makes you a pussy. The guy wasn't looking and you punch him from behind. Oh, wow, you're so tough. Wow. I can't believe how tough you are.
You know, a variety of feelings went through me as I was watching that video. When the first sucker punch happened, believe it or not, I didn't see it as that big of a deal. Football is a violent game. Emotions run high when you lose, especially since in this situation, he was talking crap about the other team and how he's going to beat them and give them an ass whooping. And then it turned out he lost. So
that makes him even more of a pussy.
Right. And then, okay, that makes him even more of a pussy, but you could understand why he was so angry, right? And then that Brian Hout, the guy that he sucker punched, right, was kind of egging him on. He whispered something to his ear or said something to him when they were passing by. So, all right, he sucker punched him. That sucked. You know, it was bad. And he should definitely be suspended for a few games, but not anything too bad, right? But then when he went crazy on the crowd and he went crazy on his own teammate, I 100% agree with you. Done. That's just... There's no excuse for that.
Here was my immediate reaction after I watched it. That if I was the guy who got sucker punched, I'd be like, and you know, the coaches came and held him right away, right? And I'd be like, Coach, no, I'm okay. It's no big deal, man. That guy's just a clown. And I'd walk around and I'd fucking attack him so bad. I mean,
yeah,
you
but
can't.
then you
got to rip his eyeball out or something. I mean, you can't like if somebody, nothing makes me angrier than a sucker punch, as you can tell. Okay, now I'm getting carried away here, right? But I mean, they thought about maybe punishing the guy who got hit. I was like, whoa, the guy didn't even do anything. He was like, look, taunting. Who cares about taunting? That happens every single game. You can't punch people for taunting, okay? So no, of course he shouldn't be punished. He's the one that got punched and he didn't even do anything. Man, I'd have wanted to stalk that guy out of the stadium. Man, that makes me angry.
Man, you're at a 10. You need to be at a 2. Let's go to JR because JR has a really interesting opinion of this.
Go ahead, JR.
So this guy was a maniac. He was out of control.
Yeah.
So the response is to be a maniac as well.
Yes.
Well, I guess you have nothing wrong with LeGarrette Blount then.
No, because he started it.
Because a maniac is a maniac.
No.
What difference does it make?
No.
So the thing is, now we talk about starting it.
Yeah.
He lost me when he went after his teammates. Then he went after the crowd. Then he went after security. He lost me on all that. He should be suspended. As soon as he said, I said, "Oh, this guy's done. He's off the team." As soon as he hit the guy, I was like, "Oh, it's over.
Right.
Game over. He's off the team." And especially when the announcer said, "Oh, he should be out next week." I said, "Next week." But Byron Hout should get a couple games.
No, you're crazy.
100%.
You're
this
crazy.
This is the problem. It wasn't a sucker punch, first of all. It wasn't a sucker punch. Number two, this is the ironic part of this whole thing. They're starting this whole sportsmanship thing. So at the beginning of this game, they had probably 12 to 14 players from each team come out in like a line and do the handshake. And because there was a little bit of bad blood last year because Boise State beat their ass at the end of the season, near the end of the season. And this same guy is the one who said, we owe this team an ass whooping. That's what he said. And that was the bulletin board material. Yeah, that was the bulletin board material. He had a horrible game. He rushed for -5 yards, something like that.
I'm telling you, this guy's the worst. He's like the weakest sauce in the whole country.
Yeah, he had a bad game. That's the whole team had a bad game. So anyway, my point is if we're talking about sportsmanship, and we're like, oh, this guy is the worst sportsmanship, let's think about what sportsmanship is. You talk trash during a game all you want. You don't come out after the game in the middle and hit somebody and talk in their ear. That, yes, it's not physical bad sportsmanship. That is mental. He lost his head. You don't do that. You just don't do that. That's in my opinion. You hate sucker punches. I hate when people boast in a victory.
No.
Obviously, I feel like you just negated your victory when you talk shit in victory. Go now. Oh, those are the worst guys. Those are the worst guys. Because you know what they want? They want you to knock him the fuck out, just like he did. Yes, because that's what he wanted. Yes, guy's done for the season. Mission accomplished. But let's not get it twisted. That was bad sportsmanship. Let's not let this guy off the hook.
No. Look, if you're asking me, was it bad sportsmanship after you've won to go and tap him on the shoulder and say, ha ha, yeah, of course it's bad sportsmanship. Okay, but I wouldn't suspend a guy over that. It's not classy, right? But he didn't hit him. It wasn't violent. It was just talk. There's talk before a game. There's talk after a game. There's talk during a game. You don't suspend someone for talk. You suspend someone for when the guy, and it was a sucker punch. The guy turned his head, and then he punched him, okay? No, I'm not even having a conversation about how.
Well, you're wrong because it wasn't a sucker punch.
It's not even close.
It's hard to be a sucker punch when the guy hits you right here, the front of your chin. It's just kind of hard to be a sucker punch from right the side of your.
All right, now you're gonna
face.
make us watch it again. Oh, by the way, everybody should know he has been suspended for the season. He was a senior. He's done.
And I totally agree with that. Mm-hmm. Even if he didn't go to the stands and the teammates and all that, I totally agree with that.
All right, now let's watch. Okay, he says, "Hey, how you doing?" Then he turns his head. And that's why he got hit. And that's why he got hit from the side. He wasn't even looking at him.
He got hit from the side because Blunt knows where to hit somebody to knock him the fuck out. Apparently, so I'm just saying.
Come on, Jay. That guy was looking at Blunt. He wasn't looking at Blunt.
Yeah, because he felt the shit was over. He said, "Okay, so let me go ahead and try and walk." He's still looking. He's still right there.
No, boom. He's not looking at him.
Side okay, if you can't see from this point of your head, you don't need to be talking to anybody. You better not try to have any kind of confrontation, which he was trying to have.
All right,
you better not try to have any of it. If you think that you can look this much away from somebody, you can't see something like that coming. Hey, I'm sorry, dude. You know, a lot of fights are sucker punches if you're gonna call it that way.
I got to go to Jesus. I'm open. You go. You tell me. Is it a sucker punch? And do you think the guy who's taunting should get suspended?
Yeah, I don't think the guy should be suspended at all. I mean, that's part of the game. People talk a lot of trash at all times, before the game, after the game, during the game. Like, I remember in high school, that's how it was. I can imagine what level it is in college. And no, you shouldn't expect to be suspended for that. And yeah, I think it was a sucker punch because the guy didn't expect to be hit in the face. I mean, you don't. If every time you talk smack to someone, are you supposed to expect someone to punch you in the face? No, you know.
Yeah, and look, and JR, I'll go.
Because it happens at every level of sport. I think
You talk all that smack before the game, and you rush for -5 yards, and you lose the game, and then a guy points that out to you.
Yeah.
And you lose control?
He points it out to you because you didn't realize it? What the fuck does that mean? Oh, so he has
He
the right.
pointed it out to you because he just kicked your ass
And
in the right way on the football field.
Which this guy probably doesn't even play. Look at his sorry ass.
Man,
my
JR.
I'm sorry. I hate that little pussy loser who does that. You just don't do that. That's the beginning of the fight. It's the perfect example of the guy who loses the fight had nothing to do with it because he got his ass whooped. If you start a fight and you lose, it's still your fault.
But he didn't start the fight.
Of course he did.
No,
of course he
that's
did.
All right, look. We go to the audience. We go to the obvious. Obviously, with this kind of heat here, we got to do a TYT poll. Okay, so TYT poll. It's a simple question. Should what's his name? The guy.
Byron Hope.
Brian
Hote.
Brian Hote, the white guy who taunted at the end there. Should he be suspended as well? Okay, not for the season. I don't think anybody thinks that, but a week or two. Okay, should he also be punished in some way? All right, we'll let you decide.